See here in the distance comes the subject of today's video, and what's it going to be? Let's have a look as it gets a bit closer here. It's an S124, and not just any S124, an E280 S124, very rare car. So I'm going to go and take a walk around it, have a look at it, and then we'll take it for a drive. We've pulled over here next to this lake. Beautiful place. Have a look at that. I'll just do a quick walk around the car. As I said, it's an S124, so the wagon version of the 124 series. This is a 2.8 M104 engine, self-leveling rear suspension, got ABS. Yeah, these engines are bulletproof, they go for miles, they've got a few common problems they all have, where there's oil leaks around the front of the tappet cover, that sort of thing. I think this one's been mostly worked through. It needs a star and it needs a good clean. It's going to rain a bit later today, so we didn't tackle that. But yeah, it gives you an idea. This sort of spec, it's unique. You don't see them in South Africa with fabric interiors, fabric door cards. Obviously it's maybe different elsewhere in the world, but here we never got that option. They're walnuts. And it's a 7-seater as well. They're very, very practical, these cars. I've had a few myself. And what's really nice is there's a rear seat that folds up out of the boot here. I'll see if I can do it for you quickly. So let's open up here. And basically what happens is that underneath here, it opens up like that. I see this one hasn't got a cover now. I think the cover's inside here actually. And that then slots in here. Let's have a look if I can find it. So lift this up. Oh, there we go. And that goes down there, and that forms the additional rear, or the third row of seats. And it's got its own seat belts. It's got inertia real bolts that come out of here and clip into the center, and it's really great. I mean, when we had mine, my son used to love sitting there when he was little. The other thing it has is very clever. It's obviously this cover here, which isn't that clever, but it has this that you go up and clip either here, or if you fold the seats down there in front. So, you know, you've got that luggage protector as well. As I say, this car needs a very good clean. But it's off to the body shop today for a bit of work. So I just thought I wanted to get this test in before we do that. Let me just move this and I'll close it up here again. Sadly, the other day somebody bumped into the back, so that needs to be replaced, and it's going in for that now. And while it's there, it's going to have a few other touch-ups, but things happen. So, really nice, usable car, a lot of power. Consumption isn't bad at all on the M104s. I remember mine, I would quite comfortably on the open road sit at about 10 litres, 100 k's, and around town 11, 12, but I used to drive like hooligans, so it's really, really not bad. We'll take it for another bit of a drive on the open road, and then we'll wrap the video from there. Today I'm driving, as you can see, something completely different. Certainly in South Africa, you just don't get these. And it's a S124, it's a 1995 S124, the S being the wagon version of the 124 series. And it's an E280, so it's an M104 engined S124. Very, very rare beast here in South Africa. We obviously had the earlier ones. We had the pre-facelift 230 TE and 300 TE sold in limited numbers here by Mercedes South Africa. But this particular car was a special import, firstly from the UK to Zim, and then when the owners moved down here, they brought it with them. So it initially, and I think they bought it new in the UK, if I stand to be corrected, but I'm almost certain they did, back in 95. It's done 172,000 miles, so that's top of my head about 250, 260,000 Ks, and it feels like an old Mercedes should. Some interesting spec differences to the local Mercs. It's got cloth fabric, which we didn't get here. We only got leather or MB text. It's obviously a dual airbag model, which was standard from about 94 on. And yeah, just a really nice car. Burr walnuts, another thing we didn't see here on 124s, and we always had the Zebrano wood trim. It just feels nice, and what I love about M104s is just the power delivery. They are silky smooth, and they love to rev. The red line's at about 6,400 revs, but I mean they really kick in and go from about 5 onwards. And I remember back in the 90s I had a C200 that I found was a little bit underpowered, that I bought in 96 when they came out, and man, I kept it for a few months and I ended up trading it in on an E320, a very, very nice demo E320 124, one of the last ones from 96, and I loved that car. I kept it longer than I think any other car I've ever owned. I had it for about 6 or 7 years. Put a lot of miles on it. It was when I was moving down to PE, and I would commute between Pretoria and PE, and I'd cover that distance effortlessly in incredibly short amounts of time, sticking to the speed limit, of course. But yeah, just really nice cars, fast, refined, safe. You know, it's got ABS, and you know, 124s are really one of my favorite Mercedeses. They're as dependable, simple and reliable as a 123, but they just feel a little bit more like a modern car. You know, you don't feel like you're driving a classic. It's certainly what you don't get is the looks of the 123, you know, the more classic appearance. But on the flip side, what you do get is a lot more refinement, and you can really get in. You can move from a modern car to a 124, and you'll feel right at home, and you'll probably be surprised at the solidity and the refinement of the 124 in comparison to your modern car. So we're going to go and put in a little bit of fuel here, and then we'll carry on with the video. Standard 124 fare here. You know, it's a solid, usable classic car that is easy to maintain, and it is incredibly durable. I've had them with 700,000-800,000 Ks on, no problem at all. And the only issues really with the multi-valves, the M111 and the M104 engine, is of course the biodegradable engine harness. This one was done at enormous expense, I must add. We sent it to a local auto electrician, and I stand to be corrected, but it was about 15,000 Rand to do it. But once it's done, it's done. And it's a problem that affected many cars of the era. But to give you an idea of performance, so I'm going along here. I don't want to speed too much on this road here, but I'm going along at 80 Ks an hour, 50 odd miles an hour, and I floor it, and it just pulls so cleanly. And boom, we're doing 120, and I'll ease up there. And it's really effortless. These M104s are beautiful engines, a lot of power, silky smooth, and as I say, very, very durable. Common issues on them, that little oil leak in the front. It's like a little U seal there underneath the tappet cover. So this one's got a bit of a vibration here. Let's maybe get the wheels balanced. But you know, there's a lot around, and the Wagon's obviously very scarce. But if you start looking at sedans, man, they're a dime a dozen. They were built in huge numbers here in South Africa, and many of them are still on the road in a variety of conditions. So you can pick up a 124 from a lot of online dealers, from as little as a decent, you know, one that's running that might need a bit of body work or something, for as little as 30,000 Rand, 35,000 Rand, right up to, you know, 150, 160, even more for a really, really nice one. And obviously the coupe's a lot more than that. The Wagon's also fetching a premium, but yeah, certainly as a daily ride of 124, you've got to look far to come close to something that's better than it. And you know, if you look at the early ones, the pre-facelift ones, the 200s and 230s, those are the same engines that were in the 123 series and in Wagon and a bunch of different cars, but just improved. They had a double timing chain, and they had the KE Bosch injection instead of K Jetronic in the 123s. So a lot of improvement, but the same basic motor as a 123. As is the box. In this car is a 722.4 box, which was also in the later 123s. So I think they changed to 722.4 in 81, 82 in a 123. And yeah, the box was carried over into the 124s. So, you know, availability of them, there's no issue at all. Plenty available, they're dirt cheap, and they're very, very rugged boxes as long as you service them every 40,000 Ks. Get that filter change, get a oil change in the gearbox, and you sort it. So yeah, I mean, really nice cars. If you think you have a 124 and you want any advice on this channel, I did do a rust tutorial on it. I'll put a link in the end of this video to that. But if you want any other advice or buying advice, please feel free to leave a comment, and I'll get around to replying, of course, as soon as I can. And thanks for watching, and subscribe to the channel. And we'll be doing a lot more videos. We're looking at doing a road test in the next few days on a 240D 123 as well as a 280E 123, and we'll keep them coming.